Hey YouTube, it's raining here. It's actually raining here, so that's interesting that it's raining, and my name is Raining. I want to shoot a video. This is probably a pretty important one. I've shot a few videos recently that I never uploaded, but this one's gonna be important. I say that because I have so many things that I want to touch on, but recently I had a conversation with a gentleman I met through YouTube about depersonalization disorder, and I realized how bad that can be and how bad it was for me. I largely have overcome that. I mean, recently I'm having a setback with anxiety, which I deal with anxiety. I never really overcame that, but as far as panic goes and stuff like that, I don't have that. I mean, well, pretty much, did away with that. So I've compiled a list actually on Excel with all the possibilities, because I think one of my problems is I've tried SSRIs, I've tried other antidepressants, tricyclics, all kinds of stuff in the past many years ago. I never stuck with anything more than like 2 days. And maybe you're like me, I'm extremely sensitive to medications. My sister is a lot younger than me, and she takes Zoloft. My grandma takes Zoloft. I've got friends on Prozac. I got friends on Zoloft and other medications, and they do pretty well with them. Lexapro and so forth. Well, I've reached that point and I reached that point, if you look at some of my videos a while ago, where I wanted to start looking at medication, but I didn't really want to. I don't tolerate the SSRIs, so I decided that I wanted to try something different, and that's when I started looking into the GABA stuff. And Lamictal is off-label for depression, but it has been proven for bipolar. And since I have a type of mood disorder, I thought it would work, and it actually was working. And you could see that in some of my videos. For about a month, or 6 weeks, maybe even longer, maybe a few months, I was feeling a lot better. I went through some side effects, and then I just started to feel a lot better, but it ended up kind of just crapping out on me. And then I upped the dose, and my anxiety went through the roof, which in the earlier stages of it, the anxiety was pretty high, but I went through it and got through it, and it was worth it. But at that level, it was way too much. It was way too much. But a caveat to that is I've been trying, if you look at my house, I have like 1,000 supplements. I've been trying so many supplements over the years, and I've spent so much money on supplements, and I don't stay on them very long. I don't stay on medication long. I don't stay on supplements long. It either doesn't work within the first day or two, or I have a side effect, or I think I have a side effect. And people with anxiety disorders, especially for me, because I have a different kind of health anxiety. Mine's not really like, I'm not worried I have something like that's gonna kill me. I understand anxiety and the symptoms, and I have a lot of psychosomatic stuff, but my fear is more that I don't have something. I would rather have, and this sounds crazy, but some disease to explain, oh, there's a tumor on your brain, that's why you're so messed up. Because then at least you can quantify it. You can at least attempt something to remove it. I know that sounds extreme, but when you've been dealing with this as long as I have, and I've had a lot of chronic health conditions, but most of those have gone away due to health effects. And a big problem I have is that I've been really upset that the natural route hasn't really worked for me. Omega-3s, healthy diet, paleo diet. I've tried a lot of different lifestyle changes, running, all that stuff. Sunlight, vitamin D. Never really had an impact, or at least maybe it did and I just didn't notice it. Because I've gone up and down, because I never stay with anything long enough to really know if it's helping. And furthermore, I'm taking several supplements along with Lamictal, and it could be the supplements that have been giving me increased anxiety or an interaction or so forth. So keep that in mind, that supplements aren't always, safe just because they're natural. They can have their own side effects, and they can also interact with stuff as well. I mean, granted, natural stuff is usually more well tolerated, and there's a lot of supplements that are proven more effective than actual pharmaceuticals. So I had a phone meeting with my psychiatrist today to talk about some options, and considering an SSRI. I've got some time off work, so I wanted to take some time to get on something and get right. But I'm scared to try something. I'm scared of the side effects. I'm scared of, which is not a good way to go into it at all. And I watched all these YouTube videos, and most of them seem pretty damn disheartening. But not all of them. I've seen some really good ones, but a lot of people have side effects. My sister had horrible nausea and dizziness, and things like that from her medications. So I compiled a list, and I got to add some more stuff to it. It has everything about every natural and pharmaceutical for anxiety and depression, half-lives, method of action, clinical studies, and I can share that with you. So I would definitely subscribe if you're interested in joining me, because I'm going to beat this thing. And I could use you guys' help. You guys have been really great and helped me out. And the more people, the more feedback, the better. And I'm hoping to chronicle my journey. And one of the biggest things I need is support-wise is, and not just support, but personally, I need to stay with these medications. I have to stay with it long enough to see if it works. If I don't do that, I'm never going to get better. I've been sitting here grinding my wheels for the past, it's been a few years. And as a last resort, if nothing else works at the end of this, I might go back to Klonopin, which to me, benzos now, they just sort of tranquilize me even at very, very low dosages. I have a very sensitive system, so I can handle like a very, very low dose. For me, will have an effect. I don't usually have side effects other than sedation with GABA-related drugs, which is why I've sort of stuck with those. I'm on gabapentin, and gabapentin really has been a lifesaver for me personally, as much as I hate it and talk crap about it, because I was able to get off Xanax and I was having a horrible time. I got up on gabapentin and I felt a little manic, I felt a little buzzed, but I was able to feel a lot better and function. But I'm at that level now where I don't want to just function. I've learned so much, I've been through a lot, and a lot of this stuff, it's psychological, of course, but if you've been depressed or anxious for years and you don't treat it, it can get bad, and you can it's going to take a lot longer to recover. But the good news is you will recover, and I've had a lot of I've had good days. Got to remember that. I've had good days, I've had good trips, and also I think that I've really burned out my adrenals recently. I was doing a lot of coffee enemas, which really were helping with my energy, and they were helping with my clarity of mind. I thought I had like a miracle going on. Coffee enemas are pretty awesome, but I started doing them every day, and then I became very started raising my anxiety, and then I think really affected my adrenals, because I have severe adrenal fatigue, and that is obviously an issue for me. So I'm gonna start going through like one supplement at a time, and I'm gonna try the supplements first, hopefully, and see if I can find one or a combination that can help offset some of these anxiety and depression that I'm having, that I've had for so long. So yeah, subscribe and let's do this together. The first ones I want to talk about that I might want to try, or that I am going to try. I'm actually on my way to the herb store right now. Good Lord, I'm going to spend more money on more herbs. Here we go. This is the same shit I always do. I end up getting a prescription for pharmaceutical, then I psych myself out and I go to the herb store instead. Oh gosh. But one of the things I need to work on really bad is sleep. Going to bed earlier, which could have an impact, and I just need a little bit of help to get me over this hump. I always feel so bad on cloudy days. Oh my gosh. It's just like my brain almost feels wet. It's really weird. I don't know if it's the pressure or something, but honestly, and I'm not vitamin D deficient. And please comment if you have similar like effects, but I also have a hard time adjusting to season changes. It's like I was diagnosed with an adjustment disorder. I've been diagnosed with so many things. Honestly, oh my gosh, I have like if diagnoses were trophies, I would be quite the athlete. If they were muscles, I would be strongest person on earth. Seriously, I've gotten pretty much every diagnosis there is, so very exciting, very exciting. I got a couple more to fill out, or check off to get all of them, collect the whole kit. But anyway, yeah, we're working on it, and I will say too that the closer I got to God, the better I felt. The farther I get away from God, the worse I feel. The more if I run, I feel well, but I also burn myself out. I ran so much that I think that burned out my adrenals too. So kind of got to take a break, and I hate taking a break. I hate sitting still. I hate. It's weird. I mean, my depression, my anxiety is like, I hate being alone, but I don't want to be with anyone. Very irritable, angry. I've been like that since I was a kid. It's just gotten worse over time. But if I take enough gabapentin, I'll just get real drunk feeling, and that's a lot better than the anxiety, so I prefer that sometimes, but we're gonna get through it. And if I have to try an SSRI, then I will, but I want to like check off everything else first before I go down that route, and hopefully give you guys, and if you subscribe, you'll get some updates as I try different things. And the first one, I digress, is, oh, and before I get to that, I just want to say one more important thing, very important. You got to push yourself outside of depersonalization. You got to push yourself outside, because I've gotten trapped before to the point where I didn't want to leave my house, and you know what I did? I joined Uber. I swear to God, it was so hard, and then I drove for Uber, and I had a horrible anxiety. You got to find a balance. You can't push yourself too hard, but if you just allow those walls to sink in on you, and I've been there, man, you're not going to be able to leave your room, and that's a scary place to be. But the more you push outside, even though it's uncomfortable, it's just like anything, the more comfortable it becomes. Because there's no difference between being anxious at home and anxious in Walmart. The difference is psychological in how you perceive that. You're perceiving that as a threat, but it's not a threat. And I'm preaching to the choir, because I mean, I'm the pot calling the kettle black, but I do push myself to do things very miserable most of the time, and I'm trying to change that. But so anyway, yeah, so what I'm going to be trying here is saffron, or St. John's wort. I'm going to be trying one of the two, and they've both been clinically proven to be effective for depression, more so or equivalent to Prozac. So I'm at the herb store now, and I'm gonna go buy some, and I will make another review here in a little bit on what I'm expecting and what I'm gonna try. So I'm gonna run in here while I'm here and grab it, and then I'll be back. I'm gonna shoot a follow-up video. Okay.